Hi, this is Tim Town Koviak, licensed loan officer. On this video, we're going to get into the 2-year game plan to buy a home. Thank you so much for watching. And before we get into the video, I want to let you know what this channel is about. This is an up and coming channel. So I like to just kind of give people an idea what we talk about here. So hopefully you can subscribe. So we talk about first-time home buyers, buying investment properties, like budgeting, having good credit, leveling up, a lot of finance topics. Now I will be sprinkling in some other topics as this channel progresses. But for now, we just mainly talk about finances and buying homes. All right, with that said, let's get into the topic. So I'm going to talk about a 2-year game plan to buy a home. Now, you may be watching this video and say, hey, Tim, I need to buy a home in 6 months or a year or whatever. I understand. So everybody's timeline could be different, and yours could be a lot sooner. But for the sake of this video, we're going to talk about 2 years. And the reason I picked 2 years is because most of the time, if you have a bankruptcy or something like a foreclosure or something like that, it could be a 2-year waiting period. And then also I looked at it that it's your biggest purchase you're going to make. So, if it takes a little longer than expected, at least you did it. At the end of the day, if you buy a home, does anyone really care that it took you a little bit longer? No, they don't. You got the home. You're back there barbecuing. You're enjoying the big kitchen. You got your backyard. You're not renting. So this is a 2-year game plan. Now, again, it may not take you 2 years to master this, but I want to give people plenty of time because, we're all busy. We all got other things going on. And, things take a little bit longer than expected. So, again, go quicker if you can, but this is a 2-year game plan, okay? Let's get into the video. All right, so let's see. 2-year plan to buy a home. And I really thought this was kind of an awkward family here. So we have a couple, almost like we have another couple, and then they have a child together. I just thought that was kind of amusing there. But most of these come from Canva, and I just get some stock photos. But all right, let's go here. So here's the game plan. Everything is going to start with your credit, okay? And you need to check your credit. Now, people do tell me I don't know what my credit is, and I like to call BS on that. Your credit is all over the place. If you have a credit card, they tell you what your credit is. If you have Credit Karma, they tell you what your credit is. If you signed up for any credit monitoring or ever logged into any of the credit bureaus, you have an idea. And if you don't use any credit, then you can't assume that you have good credit. So this is the number one thing you need to start with, your credit, okay? Lenders are going to pull your credit. That's something they teach us. I'm a loan officer within the first 5 minutes. I am a loan officer, and usually within the first 5 minutes, they teach us to pull credit. And normally we pull a soft credit. A soft credit won't affect your credit to give us an idea. So we're going to pull your credit and see where you are. Because, if we're going to give you a 30-year fix and you're expected to make, payments, what's your track record? Like, do you pay things on time? Do you not pay things? Do you not have any history? So start with your credit. So check your credit. Decide if you need to build credit. If you need to build credit, then become an authorized user. Get a secure card. Get a secure loan. There's some different services out here that could help you. So, and if you need help, I talked to a client, he used some service where they give you a free line of credit. Yes, a free line of credit to help you build your credit. That's almost like a free credit card. So if you need help, start with your credit, and then let's get into the nitty gritty. When I talk about credit, I'm talking about a 620 minimum FICO, okay? 620 minimum FICO, but I would shoot for probably a 680 or at least a 640. With a 620, you're definitely going to be approved with your credit, given you don't have any recent late payments within the last 12 months. And then the next thing is 640, where you can get a down payment assistant. So a lot of times you're a first-time home buyer, you may not have enough for your down payment plus your closing costs. It can get pricey. So work on the credit. And then the next biggest thing you need to work on is your assets. Now, this is kind of simultaneous. Well, I mean, simultaneous. I can't talk. But at the same time, while you're building your credit by using it every month, paying it off in full every month, you want to start saving for your down payment. You're going to need 3% of the purchase price, okay? And that's just the down payment, does not account for your closing costs. So if you're looking at a $200,000 home, you need $6,000, and that's just for your down payment. Now, your closing costs could be another $6,000. Just to be honest with you, your closing costs is lender costs, it's title costs, it's prepaid, and it's escrow for your future taxes and insurance. So that could easily come up to another $6,000. So on minimum, if you're looking at maybe, let's just say a $200,000 home, you need $12,000. And with $12,000, we can make it work. The sellers can pay a little bit. Maybe we'll give you a lender credit. We'll make it work. Now, if you're looking at a $300,000 home, again, you're going to need $9,000 for just your down payment. And again, I would say the closing cost, it's probably another $8,000, just, off the top of my head, because as you get higher up with the purchase price, the homeowner insurance is higher, the taxes is higher, okay? And the closing cost is a little bit higher. Closing cost is kind of proportional to the purchase price. Again, if you're purchasing a $100,000 home, you're going to need $3,000 for your down payment, okay? And then I would say for the closing costs, another $6,000. So altogether, you may need about $9,000 to buy a $100,000 home. Just to give you a ballpark. So as you build your credit, you gotta start saving. And some easy ways to save is save your bonuses, work some overtime. Use your retirement account. If you're working on a job and they don't have a 401k package and they're not matching, you might want to work somewhere else. But, you might get paid a lot. I don't know. But those are the first two things. And remember, this is a 2-year game plan. If you tell me you can't save 3% in 2 years, I'm going to say, let's do a budget. Let's see where your money's going. Either your bills are too high, or you're paying too much in rent, or your car note too high, or student loans, or you're not making enough. So we might need to, give you a little boot and get that income up. Okay. And remember, my job is to help you. I want to help you buy a home. And you can call me, and I will help you buy a home. That's my job. All right. 2 more steps here. So the next thing is review your income, okay? Your income and debts. Because if your debts are too high, that's going to go against your debt to income to where you don't have a lot of money for a potential mortgage payment, okay? And then your income, you need to see, how are you paid? Are you self-employment? Are you W-2? Are you 1099? Now, I'm not going to get into all the different factors those entail, but that's very important. I hope you're W-2. W-2 is the most easiest and straightforward. Look at your income, look at your debts. And the debts kind of cover credit too. You want to get ready to buy a home. And then after you buy a home, do whatever you want. But in this period of buying a home, you do want to lower your debt if you have a lot of debt. And then you got to look at your housing market, your local housing market. See what's available. Window shop, go on Zillow, go on Realtor.com. Kind of get a ballpark. Because if you're looking at $300,000 homes here, then you kind of know you're going to need about $9,000 for your down payment. So this will help you with knowing how much to save, if that makes sense. So if your market has homes for $200,000, then you need $6,000, for your down payment, and then maybe another $6,000 for your closing costs. So it's going to help you plan. And then wrapping up is that you might want to take a first-time homebuyer course. I can send you one. It's free. It's online. It's self-paced. It's going to go over terms in the process. I've talked to many first-time homebuyers. They don't understand the process. If you don't understand the process, you're kind of nervous. They're telling you to sign. The realtor's this. You're kind of nervous, and it's a big purchase, and I understand a lot of moving parts. So take a first-time home buyer and educate yourself. Also, every state does have some down payment assistance programs, so you want to explore that. Whether you use it or not, it's good to know if there's available because you might need it. If you don't need it, don't use it. I recommend not using down payment assistance. I won't get into that on this video, but if you need it, use it. If you don't need it, if you can make it work without, don't use it. Trust me. And then you want to shop around for some programs and rates. So there are different credit unions that are local in your area that might have some, different programs. Um, and then different rates. Some lenders have a little bit lower rate and a little bit higher rate. So you do want to talk to a couple of lenders. All right. Thanks so much for watching. That was a 2-year game plan, not buy a home. Again, it may not take you 2 years, but you kind of want to follow those steps. Definitely start with your credit, then start with your savings. And then as you go with your savings, then you want to start looking at your income and maybe your buying power, your debt, and then look up some resources. See if there's any down payment assistance available in your area. Also check your local market to see if it's feasible, because some markets are just outrageous, like New York or California. It can get really outrageous. But again, you don't have to buy in that area. You could buy anywhere you want, So I can help you with that. So if you have questions, you have concerns, please reach out to me. I'm a licensed loan officer. I can help you. If you like this video, please subscribe. I'll see you again on the next video. Thanks.